Cassell Coliseum. That place is hard, man. That place is hard for a visiting team to come into, and the Cassell Guard up there, and this incredible fan base. It's a wonderful home court. It's a wonderful place to play. Roy Williams was the first, and he grabbed me by the arm, and he said, Cassell Coliseum's the hardest place in our league that we go into. And I've heard that same sentiment from others.
Hokey, 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 hi.
Tech VPI.
That's it. Coach Mike Young joins us. Coach, how we doing? We doing right? Listen, summer's done. It's time. It's go time. How we doing?
Basketball season. We're doing great. Good to see both you and Coach. Good to be with you.
Always a pleasure. Listen, I go down your roster. I'm like,
hey, got some new faces.
Listen, you're going to buy some programs now. Where'd everybody go? I mean, it's the world of college hoops, right? That's what we got.
Started our practice this summer with a roster, so I could tell everybody apart. It's been fun. I like what we've put together. That's a hard-working group, Mark, that enjoying playing together. You know, I think with all the movement in the AAU and grassroots basketball in high schools, these guys come together. They're form bonds and learn how to play with one another. But it's been challenging. It's been different, but it's the game, and you adjust and adapt and figure it out.
I can imagine, like, when they first come on campus, like, when you have that many new guys, is it like the old days in the you see the football helmets and, like, the guy's names on the helmet. Hey, yo, you. No, let me see that your helmet.
Yeah.
Like, but how do you, like, you're a culture, identity, team, togetherness, trust coach. I mean, that's everything you've done has been built on character and culture, identity. How do you get in the new world of college basketball? Like you said, you got to fight, flee, or flow. Coach Foster used to always tell me that. You fight, flee, or flow. Well, if you're gonna flow, how do you get that group with that many new bodies to trust each other, buy in, and have a shared experience?
Okay, you better adjust and adapt. It's just where we are, Coach. You know that. The transfer portal is very beneficial. The transfer portal is a lot quicker than the high school recruiting, where you may recruit. We have a commitment from a young man that I recruited since his 8th grade year when I first got to Virginia Tech. I recruited a person with me here today for 10 days. You better have some trust in your people that you're talking to about that person. A lot of evaluation with film. Is it different? Yeah, it's different. But again, it's where we are as an industry, and I think our staff has done a very good job of adjusting to that and evolving with the new landscape.
All right, so give us a couple names that you've at least seen in practice where you say, all right, you might get a chance to, because you're going to have a chance to introduce a whole gang to us.
Yeah. Jaden Schutt's doing very good, very well for us, Mark. Transfer from Duke. Beset by a couple of injuries. He's fully healthy now. Smart basketball player. Saw him play coming out of high school. Couldn't get him when he was coming out of high school. Played for a great AU program in the Illinois Wolves. Hyseer Miller's done some very nice things for us to transfer from Temple. Toby Lawal from VCU. Ben Burnham, who's here with me today, has had a very good start to the season through 11 practices, tough. Pat Kelsey did a really good job with him at the College of Charleston. So we're excited. We're into it. We scrimmaged last night, played pretty well. We got a long way to go. I'm sure there are a lot of others here saying the same thing.
Yeah, no question.
I look at your roster, and you talk about Burnham, and you talk about Schutt, and I say, all right, which guys, and this is, I think, the magic of what you've been able to do in your whole coaching career. You're not just acquiring talent. You're finding guys that fit, skilled, high basketball IQ, unselfish. Instead of just collecting players, you're collecting pieces that create a puzzle that fits together.
Yes.
Like Burnham, when you got him, I said, like, that's perfect.
Yes.
Play him outside. He can pass it. He can shoot it. You can put him mid-post. He can back people and be a point guard from there. So, like, as you put this puzzle together, kind of give us, like, not a role, but you're not going to replace Hunter Couture,
Nope.
but I would think Jaden has a chance to be Hunter Couture-like.
Yes, sir.
So, is that when you sat down with your staff? What was your messaging to your staff?
We're not going to change the philosophy and what's important to us, Coach. You wouldn't in your long and distinguished career, guys that fit the right people, guys that know how to play. Couture was brilliant, but it's I think it made us better teachers. You can assume nothing. Justin Mutt's one of the smartest players I've ever had. But he had seen it for so long, 3 years in our program, Couture 5 years in our program. Every day in practice there will be an instance where, it dawns on me he has no idea what you're referring to. He's come from a good program, but it's the first time he's heard it here in our philosophy and what we value. But they're quick learners, they're intelligent people, and it's been great for us as coaches, and I look forward to continuing to develop this current team.
Did you do anything from a bonding perspective since you've had so many different – I mean, you're coming from every angle here putting this together.
Yeah, somebody else asked me that, Mark. Nothing that contrived. You have such a luxury in this day and age, and I don't know if it's when you were at Virginia Tech. They're around all the time. We graduated mid-May. They were back a week later. We had all of our team there through 10 weeks. Now, you're talking about a bonding experience, 10 weeks in the summer in Blacksburg, and all the students are gone. That gives you some opportunities. Now, we did some things at Claytor Lake and other things. But, again, I go back to the AAU experience and changing high schools and here and there. Those kids come together and develop relationships, maybe differently, but quicker than what, we would be accustomed to.
And some of those guys know each other probably from those AAU, whether it's the Under Armour or Nike or Adidas. In the summer, the hardest thing I think for a guy to come to play for you is the glossary. Is especially offensively, it's so unique, and the actions that you run and the names that you give. You see, some people might run similar actions, but they might not call them the same things that you do. So the glossary changes. Do you, in the summer, what was your main focal point in the summer to accomplish those 8 weeks?
Just getting the shell down in terms of your defense, in terms of your offense, the ball handling and how critical that is, and the timeliness of those passes, the cutting. I'll miss Couture's cutting. He's the best cutter I've ever had. He's a great screener. Shooter's done a good job there. But getting the basics of both of those components of our team in place, I think we did that. Now we're going a little bit quicker here as we have begun our practices. They're doing a good job. Coach, we're going to have to pare back probably. Are we going to have to stop and work on this over the next week before moving along? Probably. But I think the progress of this team to this point, I'm very pleased with.
And a little more athletic, right?
And a little more athletic and a little bigger. So we needed to be. We're doing. I think we've improved our team in that regard.
I'm going to ask a personal question. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. And I think I can ask you this. You don't do this for as long as you have without, number one, being incredibly talented or having the passion for it. Do you enjoy what's going on right now in college sports?
Some things I'm very much opposed to. I'm not going to share those things with you guys. I've talked to Coach about it. I think those are, feelings that should stay with me. But, Mark, we're still dealing with young people. Yep. We're still coaching. That's not going to change. And we're still trying to bring the best out of young people and bring them together as individuals and make them a team and see them share and see them evolve and get better. I started it 39 years ago and played for one of the best coaches of all time in Fletcher Garrett, who Coach Greenberg knew very, very well. That's what I was drawn to coaching for those reasons. That's never going to change. And the essence of what I do. Right there it is. Why I do it.
It's the core, right?
Yep.
This guy impacts lives. I mean, in the end, you grow, and hopefully the profession is still that way. But guys our age, none of us got into it for money because when we got into it, there was no money.
Made $5,000 my first year at Emory and Henry,
yeah,
and I thought I had the best job in the world.
I never asked how much I was getting paid.
No, never.
Any job I had my first 20 years of coaching. I mean, you wanted to impact someone like your life was impacted by Coach Eric.
You better believe it. Very much so.
That's what it was all about.
All right, I'll now ask you about the narrative. I'm going to ask every coach we have on today.
Please.
All right. Hubert just talked about. We're going to talk to him coming up momentarily. John Shire yesterday, one real thrilled with what the outside noise is. You can't control it, but in some respects you can by going out and winning a bunch of good games.
Yep.
But what's going on with all this stuff with the league? Well, I mean, what's your take on it?
I'm not sure how to answer that. And every year, Mark, here goes NC State and Clemson that advanced the Elite Eight, NC State to the Final Four.
It's always somebody new.
Why? I don't understand it, and it drives me crazy to hear, others in the media continue to, speak poorly of our league. We all know the great coaching in this league. It's a players' league, always has been. I don't think this year is going to be any different. I wish I had a better answer and more succinct answer. I don't, but it's quite frustrating.
What I don't get.
It's been going on for a long time.
I get that, but you know what? When you keep looking at what the NCAA tournament numbers are, because that's the ultimate scoreboard. I mean, no disrespect. I don't know what else you need to see. It'd be one thing if the conference really struggled.
Yes.
If this was the Mountain West Conference, it got a bunch of love, and all of a sudden it got to March, and you threw up all over your high tops every single time.
Yes.
I would understand it, but it's actually the polar opposite of that.
Year in, year out.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Let me ask you this: do you think that? And we just had an argument. I think that it's every coach in this league's responsibility to not only talk about their team, but talk about the good of the group.
Couldn't agree more. I admire all of those guys. Kyle Smith's a heck of a coach. Mark Matson's doing a heck of a job. Andy Enfield's. Those are three great additions to our league. We do have a responsibility as coaches in the Atlantic Coast Conference to speak positively. There's a lot of positive things to talk about. And I think of Hubert Davis, John Shire. I've been doing it a long time, as you did it a long time. There's a lot of really, really good coaches in this league, and this year's going to be no different.
Well, listen, you are good people. You're an easy guy to root for, and proud to have you in the league, quite frankly. And we look forward to watching what you got up your sleeve with this whole new roster.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your work. You know that. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Coach.
Mike Young, rocking and rolling with Virginia.